personnel around him. In Philly, just what you said, they have one of the fences in terms of running back and receiver, row two, with a great deal of common play this week. I also think Josh McCown is a deep, deep play. He just replaced McCown around week 4. Now McCown's back as starter in Tampa Bay. You got the arrival of Mike Evans, as a legitimate stud in fantasy. You got Vincent Jackson. Charles Sims can do a running back along with Bobby Rainey. It's a great matchup. This is a game that if you were desperate, you could do worse than McCown. And I've been telling people a lot of people probably have Michael Crabtree. I could get 70 yards and a touchdown. A lot of people have either been benching Crabtree or they've held their nose and started him. It's hard to bench Golden Tate after what he's done, but this is the quintessential example of a player where if you just look at his number, of course I'm starting him, but it doesn't tell the whole story. Calvin Johnson's back. Reggie Bush is back. It's a different makeup of the Lions than it was a week ago when it started Golden Tate, and that's all they had. So the risk right now for Golden Tate is that he could be limited to 5 to 7 targets, which means maybe 3 to 5 catches for maybe 50 to 60 yards, and I don't see him scoring. I really believe, and this is going to sound outrageous, people have a slightly decent option at flex. They should start that person over Golden Tate, and I'm willing to stand by that. I would caution people not to start Frank Gore. I texted a coworker at the start of the season. I said 500 yards, 5 TDs. Frank Gore is not going to get to 5 if he's not close to 5 TDs. He's been a great running back for the past decade. No one would begrudge him what he's done for that organization, San Francisco, and what he's done for fantasy. I mean, he does not belong in any fantasy starting lineup, and people should be readying Carlos Hyde for the time if and when San Francisco decides they've had enough.
Yeah, that's somebody you talked about earlier. And, of course, I had him earlier. I don't have him. Of course he does. I just let Justin Hunter. I had to let Justin Hunter go because I needed to make some moves for this week. Of course, everybody thinks he's about to explode now. So, whatever, because he's got a quarterback that likes, oh, man, who doesn't own Justin? Well, I owned him for every week that he wasn't doing everything. So does that help? Do I get points for that? No. Speaking of guys that are exploding in the last few weeks, I was able to pick up Martavis Bryant. I think I jumped in on him late last. Just come out of nowhere. He's only played 3 games. He's already got 5 touchdowns, and that's not I don't think that's a mirage. He has become that number 2 guy there for Pittsburgh, and we've seen that offense is now exploding with him injury-wise. Wheaton's getting a lot of work there too, but Bryant and Wheaton were kind of who was going to take that job. Bryant's grabbed it. He's the real deal.
That's right. I picked up Bryant in one of my leagues right before he started playing, and in my other league, right after his first game where he broke out. And he league, obviously, with what he's done. I would say that anyone who has Ben Roethlisberger needs to trade him immediately. Roethlisberger has never been a 6-touchdown guy. He's never been a 4-touchdown guy. Roethlisberger is a very good quarterback, generally somewhere around the 12th best to 15th best quarterback fantasy. What he's done the last 2 weeks, defenses will adjust what they're doing, and he'll need to adjust what he's doing. And people need to understand that he's got a great matchup against the Jets, but realistically, people should be trading him because this is the time to basically tap out. A little wrestling term for you, J-Rock, right? and get someone else in who has a much higher upside. Roethlisberger the rest of the way is going to be probably the 10th, 12th best quarterback, maybe the 8th best, but you could trade Roethlisberger right now for Matt Stafford and a good running back. I'm fairly certain.
BJ Rudell, author of Fantasy Football for Winners. We're going around some of the things here. All right, I know you've got a few more minutes with us here. Throw me some guys out here now for deep leagues like ours for all these bye weeks. You got your bold predictions at the beginning of the season. Give me some bold plays this week and some names to throw out there if their back's against the wall.
And not hesitate. That's the rub right there. Not hesitate.
Well, you know what I mean. I didn't hesitate on Theo Riddick because I didn't have any choice. So you could say I didn't hesitate for Theo Riddick. I had.
I think Alan Hearns. If Cecil Short sits out, I like Alan Hearns against the Cowboys in London.
Really?
If it's Hearns and Hearns had to lag a little bit when Cecil Short stepped up and got back in the game. Allen Robinson asserted himself as a number 1/number 2 target in Jacksonville. And Allen Robinson is easily an every week starter at this point. He's earned that. Very good desperation play because he should be targeted fairly heavily. In the game where he should be able to get, I would also encourage people not to give up on Matt Ryan, as I alluded to earlier. I think it's only a matter of time after it's been decimated. Teams generally adjust; they figure things out, and I think they will as well. I think the Seahawks defense will finally rise to the occasion against the Giants. They looked mediocre at best against Oakland at home in a game they should have dominated. I think as the season goes on, as the team continues to gel in this new season, as they try to repeat as Super Bowl champs, they have some new personnel on the defensive side, some new guys stepping up on the offensive side. Don't forget they've lost Percy Harvin and Golden Tate since last year. The team is not as dominant as it should be, and I think it'll increase over time. Finally, if you're looking deep, you look at Eddie Lacy as a starting running back who should be dominating, but hasn't been. James Starks, his backup, is still viable, and in a desperation move, you could do worse than James Starks against a Chicago team that is reeling. If Chicago can't figure things out this week in Green Bay, you could see a situation where Stark starts getting some third down carries, fourth quarter carries, and he's good enough to collect 5 to 7 points on a decent day. And that's the kind of deep pick that you want to make only, again, if you don't have any good options. But there's logic behind why Starks could contribute. And I'll give you one more, Zach Ertz. Everyone's down on Zach Ertz. What the hell happened to Zach Ertz? What's that, J-Rock?
I said I had him, too. I mean, that's the way it goes, brother. Everybody you name,
yeah.
I had him before anybody needed him, and now I don't. Look, you know how it goes. Anyways, Zach Ertz. Go ahead. Cut me one more time. Zach Ertz.
Brent Selleck's been playing more of a role in a blocking scheme, and Ertz has been held pretty much limited to, about 1 to 4 points every week for the past, for most of the past 6 weeks. I think he had 1 TD sprinkled in there. It's a new quarterback now, and Mark Sanchez. And I think Ertz, who is more talented at tight end between him and Selleck, I think now when people are giving up on Ertz is the time to consider starting Ertz. And I see Ertz as someone who, again, if you're desperate at tight end, then go for Ertz because he has 2 touchdown capabilities in any given game. He's good enough for that. The question is, will they let the ball come to him? And I always want a boom-bust guy. If I'm going to be desperate about it, I don't want to nibble around the edges. I want a boom-bust guy, kind of like the running back situation, a goal line guy. I want a guy who's going to give me 6-7 points at least, or else there's no point starting him.
I can't wait. I can hear it coming a week or two from now. Can't wait to hear B.J. Rudell with his latest guru drop say something like, Maurice Jones-Drew is going to be coming. It's coming, I'm just telling you.
You know what? You remember when I was eyeballing the draft back before week 1?
I know. And look, I screwed up.
I stumbled through. And
I'm like, that was me.
It was you.
He's bit me the last couple weeks the other way. I hear you, man. That was what. Hey, I can't do what everybody else is listening to. I dug deep and I said, you know what? Maurice Jones-Drew. He came out of nowhere 6 years ago. I was wrong. I'm 2-7. Of course, I was wrong. All right, my man, B.J. Rudell, Fantasy Football for Winners. Always a good time. Thank you so much for being here with us. We're getting into playoff runs. Do it again.
Sounds good, man. Good luck this week.
All right. Have a good one. My man, B.J. Rudell. And as we said, follow him on Twitter at B.J. Rudell. Facebook.com/Fantasy Football for Winners. He's the man. Follow his blog. You'll be ahead of the curve. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk Cavs, set the stage for tonight. Final segment of the fix coming up next. I told you, I'm going down in a blaze of glory, baby. Call me young.
there's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Throwing you the best sports commentary in town. The Sports Fix.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Fantasy Jocks. Looking to upgrade your league trophy? Check out fantasyjocks.com for championship belts, rings, trophies, and more. Fantasy sports lovers, you put so much time, hard work, and effort into playing week to week that it quickly stops being a fantasy and starts getting real. Real time spent making real decisions, creating real victory.
I'm the greatest man in the world!
And when the smoke clears, you want to show off those victories with a real prize. I mean, a really real prize. Nobody does that like Fantasy Jocks. The crew over at Fantasy Jocks have beautiful, high-quality, and heavy-duty championship belts, rings, trophies, and so much more for all your fantasy sports needs.
The trophy's 12 feet high, and it is glorious!
Football, baseball, hoops, you name it, they have it. Plus, they have awesome draft kits and party supplies to make all your preseason activities the envy of everyone. If your league needs a ring, belt, or trophy, or you want to upgrade what you already have, there's literally only one place to go. If you're going to be a fantasy jock, do it right.
It's mine, the most magnificent belt ever created, and it's mine.
With America's fantasy sports superstore, fantasyjocks.com.
What's your fantasy?
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Ohio knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family-friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This is Josh Tomlin of the Cleveland Indians, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, that's right, to the Sports Fix across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you. Thanks to BJ Rudell for joining us. Fantasy Football for Winners. Get you all set to go. Jeff Gorman from Browns101.com previewing the Bengals scouting report for tonight. Kendall Lewis talking about it. Good conversation with the BSK in hour number one. I'm going to open the phone lines back up for the last few minutes of the show. If anybody's listening live wants to get in, 216-539-7535 is the number to call. What's your prediction tonight? What do you think happens with the Browns? 216-539-7535. If you're listening on digital delay, let me know your thoughts before and after the game on Facebook, facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at thesportsfixcle. You can email me, thesportsfix@aol.com. And, of course, we'll be talking about it tomorrow. Jonathan Knight, the sports writer extraordinaire, will be here talking about the Browns and the Bengals, and it's good to have. It's kind of cool because we get to switch everybody's roles a little bit. Ryan Ruiz from the Inscriber, or excuse me, no, he's not, from Dog Pound Nation. He'll be here tomorrow talking about it as well. Mike Brandeberry from DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com in the house. Looking forward to talking some baseball with him. We'll get you into the weekend. There's a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. Friday, post-game Friday edition of the Sports Fix. Who knows who else may be here, but let's talk. At the beginning of the show, I was going to get into the Cavs, and then we just went right on the road to football, and that's cool with me. So last night, Cavaliers lose one. Second half, really, from the first quarter on, Cavs much better, much crisper. Really, in the second half, they were in control of the second half of the game, but you can't put yourself in that much of a hole. It was a different team because you know why in the second half? Forget anything else. They started playing defense. That's what the biggest difference in this team was. They came out in the third quarter and held Utah to 17 points. All of a sudden, and I saw a little bit. Look, there's a lot of work, but I will say that I think I saw some of the little